Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Doctor Who. This is part of the Wilderness Years, and this is, I believe, more than 30 years in the TARDIS. I do know that there are two versions of this, one without the more than in the title. I believe this is the more than 30 years version. It was just given to me to watch, and I was told that this is the version that this is, so I've just kind of gone with that. If it's not, then I'll just sort it out title-wise later. I don't know what to expect from this. It's going to be interesting because I've not actually, other than like a bit of the behind the sofa stuff on the box sets, I haven't actually ever really watched a Doctor Who documentary before, to be honest. It's just not something I've sought out. I love the behind the sofas though. They're like my favourite parts of those box sets. So when I was getting to the Wilderness Years, I thought, well, now's a good time to kind of watch a lot of these things and kind of see what it's like. I'm expecting a lot of archive footage because obviously there's not a lot of these guys sadly around anymore. But I don't really know when this was filmed. I'd probably say maybe mid-90s, I guess then, yeah, because it would be more than 30 years. So it's going to be an interesting one to see who crops up in this. So I'm just going to get on into this. Let's go.
It was 16 minutes past 5, Earth time, on Saturday, the 23rd of November, 1963, just a day after the assassination of President Kennedy, when Doctor Who first materialised on BBC television.
They genuinely
between
couldn't
the
have got a better person
and the Telegoons, a legend
to narrate this.
He's an old-fashioned hero. He's always an extremely good, extremely moral character. He's always on the side of right and truth and justice.
There are some corners of the universe that
This was when Polly had a Starbucks, wasn't it? I remember that. They made me laugh.
All my travellings throughout the universe, I have battled against evil, against power-mad conspirators.
Genuinely,
I should have
one of
stayed
my
here.
favourite seasons.
The oldest civilization, decadent, degenerate, and rotten to the core. Power-mad conspirators, Daleks, Sontarans, Cybermen. They're still in the nursery compared to us. 10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really corrupt.
He's never cruel, he's never unkind, he's always trying to make peace, he always protects the underdog.
Do you run all your factories like that, Controller?
That was not a factory, Doctor.
Then what was it?
A rehabilitation center. A rehabilitation center for hardened criminals.
Including old men and women, even children.
I'm not sure he always won, but I mean, what separated him from the evil that he encountered was his, I mean, this is paradoxical, but it was his human qualities.
But you commit mass destruction and murder on a scale that's almost inconceivable, and you ask me to appreciate it? Just because you happen to have made a brilliantly conceived toy out of the mummified remains of planets! Terrible storms, Doctor! It is not a toy! What's it for?
I saw the character of Doctor Who as an anti-establishment character, and I really do feel initially that's one of the reasons why people were drawn towards kids particularly, because they felt that here was an adult, you know, who was as against the establishment as they were, and they sort of bonded with him in a strange way, even though they were sort of scared of him at the same time. Because Doctor Who, as I envisaged it, was a rather cantankerous,
old man,
difficult, unpredictable character, who also had a bit of the child in him there as well.
I was only little when the programme started, but it seemed quite natural to me that my grandfather should be on television with a long white wig playing the character. But of course it meant that I could watch it without getting scared, so I didn't watch from behind the sofa.
One of the reasons why Doctor Who's managed to survive for so long is precisely because of this bright idea they had when William Hartnell wanted to leave the show after 3 years, that he could regenerate into a different looking person.
I just thought it was more because he was ill. Not that he wanted to, it was more that he couldn't.
Something about this old body of mine is wearing a bit thin.
Billy had made him this crotchety old gentleman. And he was very serious, and I had to be very serious too. But the way I made it serious was by making him a bit of a clown to start with, a sort of offbeat thing, you see.
Now then, where shall we go? Oh, well, let's just get our breath back first before you start tearing off anywhere. Anyway, as you know, the TARDIS has a mind of its own. You know you can't control it.
I love that it started like that far back.
We'll see about that.
Here we go again.
I wonder where it'll be this time.
It's very hard to describe Troughton. Whereas John was much more Holmesian, wasn't he? Very grand, and he's so shockingly...
I love this guy.
Like a light bulb, isn't he? Glitters.
Do you mean me?
Doctor Who started as a very Edwardian gent, very genteel, slightly dandy, but not too wild. And as you look at what happens over time, there's always this Edwardian feel that runs right the way through.
Yes.
He might have assistants who, verge on the sort of youth element at times, but he is always the gentleman.
John, it looks rather like a hovercraft. Is it allowed to go on the road?
Yes, it is. It's a one-off. There's nothing like it in the world.
Where is it?
And it isn't a hovercraft.
Like, where is it now?
And it is
How
taxed
does it
and
run?
insured
It
for the
looks as
car.
though it's on a cushion of air.
It's
there.
in fact on 3 wheels.
One at the front
One
and two at the rear.
back.
Mind the jets at the rear.
Right.
Don't frighten the
Here
dog.
we go.
Hi, John.
All the doctors had their own particular eccentricities.
Would you like a jelly baby? They're rather good. Go on, have one.
There were the jelly babies, which I think ran through several doctors, as did the sonic screwdriver.
I still hate that scream.
Even the sonic screwdriver won't get me out of this one.
Drop the sonic device.
We're gonna kill it.
Isn't my day, is it? I feel as though you've just killed an old friend.
The Doctor's trusty sonic screwdriver first appeared in an episode which sadly no longer exists on film.
All done by sound waves.
It's such a sad thing that the BBC, hasn't got in its archives, Doctor Who from day one.
Day one. If you're supposed to be the superior race of the universe, why don't you try climbing after us?
Daleks can now go downstairs.
And up. There it is.
25 years before a Dalek was seen to conquer the staircase on screen, but in the famous comic strips of the mid-60s, they dominated the skies from their transsolar discs.
Calling over scout reporting from Sector 4. Target observed. These humanoids are not liars. They still have fear.
Oh god, I love those voices.
Blaze the Cybermats on the runway.
Go, little friend.
Cybermats will attack.
Oh, look how slow.
Why I like these particular monsters better than any other is because you can
What
see
is
the human
that
eye
Ogron doing?
and you can see the mouth. And therefore you get real, true expression. Unlike the Ice Warriors, in my opinion, or the Cybermen that just had a slit. You just heard the voice. But here you can see the mouth. Will you speak to me, sir?
My life at your command.
There you are, you see? Perfect example. Eyes can be seen, mouth can be seen.
He's like a little kid,
That's why
isn't
they
he?
were my favourite monsters.
Oh.
Colin, what do you think is the role of the companion?
Well, apart from being lovely to look at, you mean? You've always known the answer to that. You tell me. Go on.
Well, to ask a lot of questions.
Yes, true. What else?
To make the Doctor look very clever.
Of course. What else?
To let the audience know what's going on.
You're getting there. What else?
To reaffirm the patently obvious.
That's about the size of it.
Yes, thought we'd agree there.
This is the first time I think I've...
You do know there's a lot of Cybermen following us.
Yeah, I know that.
Jenkins? Chap with the wings there. 5 rounds rapid.
Chap with the wings.
I mean, that is the military solution to everything, isn't it?
Shoot it.
5 rounds rapid will dispose of this appalling chap.
The Brigadier, played by Nicholas Courtney, was the most wonderful actor to work with because he was always so absolutely rock solid. You never could throw him.
That line, you mean? Yes. Ah, fine. Yes, sure. No, okay. Yes, indeed.
Oh, how polite is he?
Shot 43, take 3.
So how can you identify with the Doctor? You are always saying, well, what's the Doctor doing? What's he up to? He's a stranger. He's not really human. But, now here's the person that, yes, I can go along with and feel that she's one of us or he's one of us.
To me...
Oh, there she is.
I think it's extraordinary that people with the brilliance in many ways of making a programme of that kind couldn't have extended their awareness, not only to their cameras and all the rest of it, but to the effect of what they were doing upon the children who were receiving it.
I would pray that Mrs. Whitehouse had watched the programme and thought it was too violent, because it automatically put 2
More
million
viewers
on our audience figures.
Yeah, there you go.
We received very good punch-in appreciation figures.
We wanted to bring back the mystery, so that's why, because we thought too much had been told about the Doctor, and also the slight danger
In the end, you
Which is probably why during Sylvester's run, there's like a lot of times where I was like,
Davros,
where are they going with
far
this?
more than just another Time Lord.
The series finished in December 89.
We'll just for ourselves.
The Doctor lives on in videos, novels and comics, but the fans still campaign for new television adventures.
There are worlds out there where the sky's burning, where the seas asleep and the rivers dream. People made of smoke and cities made of song. Some where there's danger, some where there's injustice, and somewhere else the tea's getting cold. Come on, Ace. We've got work to do.
Oh, look at the quote stand. You'd love this. This was like, I just didn't expect this at all. I loved watching it. It's like amazing to see like all this behind the scenes stuff, like listen to all of these stories. I love that they had Nicholas Courtney narrating it, and I love that we got some companions and some doctors come back and do like little interviews and redo like little scenes and create new scenes, and it was just really sweet. It was just a clever way, I thought, of like integrating like these little kind of, you know, scenes that they did into actual scenes, and it was just brilliant. And then having all of these like Pebble Mill things thrown in there as well, because Pebble Mill was like such a big thing. It was just brilliant. And like even all the Blue Peter stuff as well, especially obviously with the Peter Pevers connection, was just, I just thought this was a lovely thing for them to make actually, and a great thing to watch, and to like hear the story about like how it ended, like how abruptly it seemed to have ended anyway from the sounds of things. And Sophie was saying she was off doing another job when she found out, and it's just like crazy. It's going to be an interesting thing going through like more Wilderness Years stuff to see like what other bits of like nuggets and things come out from this. But I thoroughly enjoyed watching this, and it was so lovely to see like these guys again and things as well. And yeah, this was just really sweet. It was like, I felt nostalgic watching it, even though like when this aired I was maybe God knows how old, 8, something like that. So yeah, interesting, really interesting. I'm going to sign off and say thank you, and I will see you guys later, so thank you.